Hello, I'm Scar, and this is a short and hastily thrown together tutorial on how to use the Loadout.tf tool for Team Fortress 2 character manipulation. Now, Loadout is a web-based software that allows you to customize TF2 characters, model items and cosmetics, and pose these characters, making for some pretty cool images if done correctly. While the site is pretty basic to get started in, there are some more niche features that may take some time to find. So the goal of this video is to show you how to get to the point where you can simply skip the meandering search step and get right to making your cool cosmetic loadouts. Here's some examples of things I've made with Loadout.tf. We've got this really cool pyro holding his flamethrower. As you can see, I've got both the unusual effect on the hat and also the sheen for the specialized kill streak on the flamethrower. We've also got this one of a different pose where he's looking directly at the camera. Here's one of my sniper with his sniper rifle. Once again, you can see the sheen on there. Once again, I'd also like to point out this fantastic visual quality. Like, it just looks amazing. We've got another one of sniper. As you can see here, I've posed his face. So he's got a facial expression. Here's one of pyro. As you can see, I changed the background on this one, so it's got a different colored background. Here's one with a different flamethrower, but the same cosmetics and unusual effect. Here's one with a unusual taunt effect on there while he's holding a sign. And then we've got this one that's the man melter with the sheen on there, holding it really close to the camera, and it's still pretty high quality for TF2 characters and items. These next two I just made today. Here's a lineup of all of my class loadouts. All of them have individual items and poses. I will admit this took quite a while to put together. And then here's the last one, which is a meet the team recreation using my cosmetic loadouts. So those are just some examples of things that you can create with Loadout.tf. So the first thing you need to do is head to Loadout.tf. It's that simple. And when you reach Loadout.tf, you're going to be presented with a very boring blue background and a ambiguous set of symbols at the top. They don't really offer too much clarity in terms of, like, you can't really hover over it. I lied. I was wrong. I didn't realize. Okay, so they actually do say what they do. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and select a character to start with. Today we're going to be modeling my heavy. So you just click one of those. It's going to take a second to show up. It always starts in the idle animation laying flat on its back. But otherwise you can click to drag left and right. I'll press escape so you can see my cursor. There's a moving back and forth just like this, and he turns along with that. Moving up and down doesn't do anything. I'm clicking right now. And so that's how you manipulate the character. Now we can scroll in and out to make him smaller, larger, and I can't remember. Oh, that's right. You can use the arrow keys, or WASD works as well, to move up and down, left and right. So if we were to want to zoom in really close on his head like I did with that pyro, we could manipulate it in that way. We can also pause the animation so that he stops moving like that. We are more likely to get a better frame if we want to take a screenshot. So the first thing we're going to do is add some cosmetics. And to add both cosmetics and weapons, you're going to click this three lines with the plus. It's going to open up this menu right here that shows all items. You can have all of your items. You can search by the item name, the slot, or the index listing, which will yield results for both. You can also sort by cosmetic collection if you feel like doing that. Don't really see why you would do that. There's a bunch of different customizations for what to filter. You've got metals, weapons, cosmetics. I traditionally turn off metals because I don't ever put metals on there. This includes workshop items. I don't know to what extent that is. There's no way. Oh my goodness, I actually didn't know that. You can put on workshop items. That's really cool. Okay, good to know. But that's only if you select workshop as opposed to items. Weapons and cosmetics, one class, multi-class, all classes. And then if you were to do one class, then it would just ask you. It would only give you results for the class that you currently have selected on the screen that you're modeling for. You can turn this on, filtering per class, hiding conflicting items. So if I were to select the football helmet, it wouldn't show up any other head cosmetics. hide Halloween restricted items, just in case you're modeling a cosmetic loadout for something like a casual server that doesn't support Halloween only cosmetic items. And this will just show the selected items, which makes it easier to go back and edit items. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. Let's go ahead and get started with a head cosmetic. On my heavy, I use the legendary lid. So you can go ahead and type legendary. Now there's a bunch of items. These are all legendary rarity, but the legendary lid's going to be right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. As you can see, it went ahead and showed up on his head, and it also showed up here. This is where you can interact with items. Clicking here only adds or it only removes items, so you can't edit them from here. If I want to change the paint, I have a mustache, the mustache color, age mustache gray on my hat. I'm going to go ahead and click that. You're going to click that once the cosmetic item is already applied to the character, not before, otherwise it's not going to work. But you can see there it's correctly applied, no clipping issues. It's a really well-made engine. Some items I've noticed do conflict, but it's mostly accurate to how it actually would be in TF2. We can go ahead and add another item. I use the Dead of Night, and it offers all of the different specialities of Dead of Night here. So this is hide grenades, light, dark, light with no grenades, different things like that. Now, of course, these only apply to classes that have grenades on the front of their uniform, such as Pyro, Soldier, and Demoman. So it really doesn't matter at this point whether I select dark hide grenades or dark otherwise, but it will matter on other classes. So I'm going to go ahead and select the Dead of Night. It applies that. Fantastic. Change the color. Have the same age mustache gray. That's what I have. And then finally for my heavy, I'm going to go ahead and give him the Tomb Readers because I like the way that they look, and I don't have those painted at all. So you can see right here he's wearing the Tomb Readers, got the hat. You can add more than 3, of course. If you're actually modeling how it would be in game, you wouldn't have more than 3 cosmetics. But yeah, that's what that would be. So just for modeling purposes, I'm going to go ahead and give him a stance before we add some weapons. So to get rid of all of the panels and things, anything that you would interact with, you can go ahead and click this. Clicking this again doesn't get rid of, voice crack, gee whiz, doesn't get rid of the cosmetic menu. That's the only way to get rid of it. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a pose. And to give him a pose, we're going to go ahead and click here. This shows us all of the options that we have for heavy poses. It customizes each of these to the individual classes. So for example, Pyro would have the idle animation for the thermal thruster, whereas Heavy would not, and Pyro wouldn't have the sandwich taunt, right? And then we can move our progress throughout that taunt by moving this bar. So this is the beginning of the taunt, this is the end of the taunt. And idle animations, it just loops multiple times through there. Hit backspace. So if we were to say stand primary, it's an idle animation, right? So it's just going to move through one loop of that. We can also hit play, and it'll just move through that over and over again. So if I were to change it back to taunt sandwich, and we were just to keep it going, it would just go through that taunt. It should also be noted, as you can see here, that taunt animations do not change the facial animation. This is honestly a good thing, because you want to be able to customize your facial expression and don't want that to be accidentally overridden if you click play by accident or something like that. But what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to do the stand with primary deployed, which is going to be here, and we're going to give him a minigun. So I'm going to go to Tomislav. Now you can see here Tomislav has a bunch of things on it. So I'm going to go ahead and click Tomislav, which gives him the Tomislav, right? So now he's holding the Tomislav. And this is unusual effect. This is paint. Whether it has crits, I lied, this is not paint, this is sheen. That's paint. And then this is the festivizer. So if we can festivize it real quick just like that. Click it again to turn it off. Yeah, there we go. I have the Health and Hell green paint on my Tomislav. It always takes a second to show up, just by the way. So we can type health and then set the wear to minimal wear and click Health and Hell green. It takes a second to apply. Honestly, that was faster than it normally is, but then it goes ahead and applies it to your weapon. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply my Agonizing Emerald Sheen, and it moves at a faster rate than it does in the actual TF2 item inventory, because most people just use this for photos, so you don't want to be waiting for like 10 seconds for the sheen to go across again. So that's what that is. That's how that goes. We can click crit, and it should give it a crit effect, right? Why not? I don't know. I've never really used crits, so I don't really see much of a reason to. If we want to add a stat clock with a certain number on it, we can add a stat clock with a number on it, and that'll be like right there. Ooh. Can you see it? 400. It's kind of weird. I don't know why it's like that. But you can add the stat clock by typing into this right here. Woo! Ah, shoot. And if you, in case you navigate out of this or you go and you edit something, so say we were going to add a croaking hazard. Woo, croaking hazard. We add the croaking hazard, that's fine. But then we want to edit something about the Tomislav, like, for example, the fact that the paint is gone. We just need to type in Tomislav, and it remembers that this is what we had before. So I can go ahead and reapply those things. So that's how that works. And then I can move through the animations like this. Now to edit facial expressions. Editing facial expressions is one of the more complicated things because it gives you all of these settings. And these kind of work in tandem. I don't know what all of these do exactly. They move the different parts of the face clearly, but in different ways. I'm pretty sure all of these 1, 2, and 3 letter things, DS, MB, P, are phonemes that all form different sounds that one would make with your mouth. So for example, if you were to make the mb sound with your mouth, that is the way that your mouth would move. Mb. Your bottom lip comes up. So just this p would be p, bring your lips together in front. So that's what those phonemes do. It just helps with customizing the details, the minutia of the way that the face works. We can also, hold on, let's see. I can do this. I can change the way that the lid is closed. But we're gonna go ahead and do this action fire. So he's yelling, but then make him a little bit happier like that. So it's like a ooh, that's freaky. It's a grin. It's also very precise. And then we do upper angry, so it gets a little bit of a snarl in there. So he's like happy, but he's angry, you know? We can click reset like here. Here's an interesting thing though. When you go ahead and disable this, if you go back and you interact with anything else, so say for example, you're manipulating multiple classes through the meet the team setup thing, it's going to go ahead and reset all of this. So you better hope that you remember it. Otherwise, you're going to have to reset everything and go back through changing it all, if that makes sense. Let me restate that again a little bit clearer. If you're interacting with multiple classes on the same page and you go ahead and click off one of them and start manipulating that one's face and then go back to heavy, it's not going to remember where these sliders are. It's going to keep the face, but it's not going to remember the sliders. So then you'll be like touching this and the face will be jumping all over the place. So it just gets kind of weird. You got to click reset and go ahead and do it all over again, which is kind of annoying, but that's just the way she goes. Now, if we were to want to add an unusual effect to his hat, you can click this flame thing right here, and it's got the list of all of the unusual effects that you can get on a cosmetic item. So we could add a shining star here, which I definitely don't have shining star on this hat. I actually don't have any cosmetic effect on this hat. You got to remove each individual one. That's pretty cool. I wish you could adjust it though, because you can adjust them in game. But was that Moths? Yeah, Moth Plague. But you can't adjust them through Loadout.tf, unfortunately. So you've got your unusual effects. You can also get kill streak effects. So for example, if this was a professional kill streak item, we could get a Hypno Beam kill streak effect and change the color of it and everything like that, which is fantastic. and that's just 5 kills. So it's either full power or 5 kills only. Don't know why. I'll be honest with you, I really haven't had too much experience with professional killstreak weapons. And then finally we've got taunt items. You do not need to be using a taunt. Oh, that reminds me of something. We'll come back to that. You don't need to be using a taunt to use these, so I can go ahead and apply the Delightful Star taunt thing, and it'll just do that, so it just makes him look cooler. I like using this Eerie Lightning one, as you can see from that picture that I had at the beginning of the video, because it's just like a cloud, like kind of boom, you know. And to disable the taunt effects, you can go ahead and click up here along with this to disable here, and you gotta just click out of them if you do that one, right? And then this again to get rid of that menu. I remembered one more thing. If we want to make him do a specific taunt thing, so if we can type taunt, to make him perform the actions of a taunt, looking for... Here it is. This gives him the items for the taunt, and then we can run him through the steps of the taunt. It does get kind of buggy when you're working with both a weapon and a taunt, so you might need to mess around. You might need to remove the weapon, remove the taunt, re-add the taunt. But you can get those items in here and have him run through the animations in a loop. I did it with Spy with his lounge chair, that he was just sitting in the lounge chair and reading his book on a loop. And that was fantastic. Oh, see, now that I clicked it, it's very buggy, but it, yeah, I don't know why it. Ooh, one other thing to share. You probably saw that the water spilled out even though I had paused it, so we'll watch it again. Okay, it didn't do it that time because it wasn't rendering anything. But if we were to go to the Pyro one, for the thermal thruster where he holds the match under his rear and it blows flames out, even if you pause it, the flames still animate. So if you're trying to get a picture of that, then you've got to be really quick and do your precision. So that's how to do the taunt thing. So then, let's see, other things. We can go ahead and customize the background. If you click Settings, you can, under General Options, Competitive Stage, that's fine, you could do that. And that's just going to put him where the winner of a competitive game would be. There's also a taunt that will show, or a stance that will show the way that he would be standing in this competitive stage. The way that he would be standing. If you want to do that, I would warn you against map, using anything from map, because that really lags out the engine. It took me like 10 minutes to load in, or even more, to load in to Fort. I gave up, and I just end up using a default color or a picture that you can upload. So I could upload, let's see here, we could do this. And hopefully that'll load in. Yeah, it's just squished because it doesn't like this aspect ratio. But that would be cool if that worked. We're going to go back to solid color. And I can choose a color. I can upload a hex code. So for example, I could get the hex code of Discord and put the Discord hex code so that it looks like it's a PNG even when it's not. Saves me the trouble of cropping anything out. So that's how to do that. That's how to create an individual character with Loadout.tf. If that's all you needed to know, you can go ahead and leave. Ooh, I lied. Don't leave just yet. You can take a picture like this, and it will download. It'll download the picture, and then you can look at it, and it'll be just like that. So you see I caught the sheen with the picture. But yeah, if that's all you needed to know, you can go ahead and leave. I'm going to real quick explain how to create the Meet the Team loadouts. So to create the Meet the Team loadouts, you can go ahead and click Options, and then head to Meet the Team. Under Meet the Team, you're going to click Setup Meet the Team. It's going to render all of the characters, put them in their poses, and then put them in the context of the Meet the Team loadout. It's going to take a second, so I'll just wait for it to do that. So that's that, right? And you can see it still retained my heavy loadout. You can go ahead and click on each of these, and interact with each of the individual loadouts of these people, and throughout the class selection. Make sure to turn off apply to all, otherwise it's going to get really chaotic, because like if I were to turn on apply to all and then put melee, stamp melee all class, then they're all standing like that. But if we were to do something a little more chaotic, like, I don't know, a rock, paper, scissors, RPS, then they're all standing like that. I mean, it might be cool, it might not be cool. It was just, I prefer to have it apply to all off. And you can interact with each of these. Unfortunately, you can't turn or manipulate them. Like the characters on this, their feet are kind of stuck. They won't turn or move in relation to it. All you can do is move your perspective, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, and change your settings like this. You can change the camera angle like this, moving around like with the WASD keys, and then we have that. You can mess with the lighting implements if you know how to do that type of thing. For example, if you use Source Filmmaker, this is basically an easier version of, by clicking the advanced settings, and you can, I lied, that's not it. It's the Scene Explorer, and you can manipulate these lights, I believe, through that. I don't know how to use that, so I didn't try. Those are all like complicated settings and things. None of these do anything, so I don't even know. But that's basically how to use Loadout.tf. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.